You may just proceed to Ambassador, actually. Her Excellency, Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu. You can summarize your resume and then probably answer one or two questions from distinguished senators. You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. The President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly, His Excellency Senator Godswill Abadio, GCON, the Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Senator Barral, Green CFR, Principal Officers of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my senator, the senator representing Anambra South, who tragically passed away not too long ago, the very dynamic Senator Patrick Ifeanyi, who we continue to mourn and who is yet to be buried. May his soul rest in peace. The distinguished senator representing Anambra Central, my brother, Senator Victor Ume, the distinguished senator representing Anambra North, my brother, Senator Tony Woye. I cannot fail to mention my senator, Senator Osita Nubu, and of course, Senator Enya Baribe of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. I would like to start today by giving a brief introduction of myself. I am the sixth child in a family of 8. My father, the late Chief Christian Ono, and my mother, Mrs. Carol Ono, who was a college principal. I was a devoted daughter to both, and a humble wife of the late Ojukwu. I'm a lawyer by training, and I grew up in a rural village called Subo. I was born in England. It was, I would say, one of the best experiences of my life. Because, of course, when you live in the village, it affords you a wonderful opportunity to really get close to the earth and to understand the values that really matter in any society. My elementary school was at Ekudu Primary School, and then I went to Queen's High School, after which I transited to Upward School in Pontefract, West Yorkshire, in the United Kingdom. And from there, I went to Cambridge Tutorial College, St. Andrews College for my advanced levels. The University of Buckingham, where I commenced a 3 combined honors in politics, economics, and law, and then subsequently transferred to the University of Nigeria, where I obtained my law degree and law school, and a lawyer by training. And of course, I am a mother of three wonderful children. In public service, I served as senior special assistant to the president of Diaspora Matters, after which I served as Nigeria's ambassador to the Kingdom of Spain.
Heart of the city where stories unfold.
And Nigeria's permanent
Njenje Media
representative
TV shining bright and
to the
bold.
United Nations World
Bringing news from the corners of the globe. Connects us together, no matter the road. Watch us rise, hear the voices roar. Unity and diversity.
engage in effective diplomatic arrangements to really get a sense of what it means to interface between your government and your host country, host communities, and of course, as ambassador to the Kingdom of Spain, I was able to do that most effectively by presenting strategic platforms for engagement between Spain and Nigeria. And I am honored to say that in the course of my service, I was honored with the award of Africa's most outstanding ambassador, which was a vote conducted by the prestigious Dutch magazine called The Voice. And of course, El Mundo Diplomatico, which is a platform in Spain that trails the activities of ambassadors serving in that country, gave me a merit award for my service. At the same time, within the UNWTO, which is the premier body charged with regulating tourism and tourism-related activities, I performed incredibly well. After this, to cut this quite short, I have also engaged in other public service. I was the secretary of the Justice and Peace Commission in Anambra State, set up a commission of inquiry set up to look into and unravel the root causes of insecurity in southeastern Nigeria. And I am also a member of the governing council of Ojukwu University, as well as Christian Ojukwu College of Education. It is my honor to stand before you all today and to assure you that I am here. I am here because I believe that there is hope for this country. I am here because I believe that if we are all able to come together sincerely and commit to serving this nation with the focus on ensuring that we have peace, that the sky is the limit for this country. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very rich resume. Yes, the nominee is ready to take a few questions. But let me start. Let me start with comments. Let me go to the state of Anambra. Unfortunately, may so rest in peace. She comes from the senatorial district of our late brother, Senator Ifayoba, who is not here, and the closest person, the two closest senators after Ifayoba will have to say something about the nominee, because it's from whom that we know you. Distinguished Senator Victor Ome.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Victor Ome. I represent Anambra State First Senatorial District. Mr. President, when I was coming to work this morning, I assured myself that I will not be overwhelmed by emotion when Her Excellency stepped into this chamber. And we have all listened to her. Nobody can fault her qualification to serve this country in any capacity. She is very intelligent, very, very charismatic, and very beautiful. You can see. I asked her to her beauty when she comes to
Please restrict your comments to her resume.
her resume. It is there.
Because you know why I'm saying that?
It is there.
Senator Ome, restrict yourself to her resume. Otherwise, we'll go into social media and Google. I will ask a question: who touched my Bianca?
Mr. President, you know too much. But let me say that you will expect this kind of answer from me. Because Her Excellency Ambassador Bianca, Ojukwu, her nomination is very significant and also very historic. If you listen to her concluding remarks, you will see that she's somebody who has a passion for peace and well-being of this country and for inclusivity in all the things we do in Nigeria. I have the privilege of serving as the national chairman of APGA for 6 years. I served for 10 years, but for 6 years, the husband, Ojukwu, was the leader of the party, and I was the national chairman. I worked very closely with our iconic leader and with Ambassador Bianca, who was always around and involved in all the things we do. I want to say that Ambassador Bianca possesses the intellect and the ability to work for Nigeria in the ministry she has been given to oversee, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. She has experience as an ambassador. But I say that her nomination is significant because of her husband, who we very much revered. And there's nobody in this chamber who will not know the importance of that name, and for her to step into this chamber to be confirmed, screened and confirmed as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is indicative of the fact that we are trying to put the past behind us in this country. Apart from her personal attributes and qualities, she carries with her a burden bearing that name because her husband was our all and all. Ambassador Bianca, in this mission, we are with you. I support you. I will always support you because we had so much in common with the APGA that we built and developed. Even in this chamber, I'm called Kokoronko. And I want everybody will support. I know countryman will support. I know that. So what I'm saying is that with her joining the federal cabinet, Mr. President, we are looking forward to opening more doors to reconciliation and many other things to come. I knew the wishes of her late husband, because he was my leader. I worked very closely with him. There were things, if you were to be alive, he will continue to ask for. I don't want to say so much, so that we'll confine it to her screaming. Those things the husband stood for, she also stands for them. We have worked together, we have shared struggles together. So now that you are in the federal cabinet, my beloved sister, I wish you well. I know that my brothers will speak and this Senate will support you. But when you go, remember that you have so much people looking up to you. All those things our dear brothers stood for, continue to canvass for them. Continue to canvass for the quality of life.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Yes.
Distinguished Senator Tony Way.
Thank you,
My name is Senator Tony Moye, representing the people of Anambra North Senatorial District. Actually, my big brother said it all, but I need to add few things. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this is one of our best. Incidentally, we were never in the same party together. She was of APGA, I was never of APGA. But this House Chamber should have set above party affiliations. I must commend and thank Mr. President Ahmed Tinubu for recognizing this woman for this appointment, irrespective of party affiliation. It's not because of only the fact that she was with our late sage, our undisputable leader, when he was alive, took care of him when he was alive. It's because this woman is an epitome of excellence. She's very cerebral, she's very articulate, very eloquent, very, anything you can think of. Ebullient lawmaker, ebullient lawyer, and arbitrator for that matter. A product of University of Nigeria, a great lioness, a woman who is a bridge builder. I must say that my people, people of Anambra North, are commending Mr. President once more. And also we are appealing the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria not to waste so much time. She is prepared for questions to answer. She has been a special assistant to Mr. President, who are very CV, a big builder that doesn't know about tribe, that doesn't know party A, party B. I feel strongly that even as an ambassador, when she was an ambassador, she was killed on 11th of May 2012 in absence. That was when she was mourning the husband. She was not even there at the committee stage. But because of her resume and her record, the then Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs screened her, and the Senate of Federal Republic unanimously approved. I'm appealing to our distinguished colleagues, led by our great-in-law. Let them not find any hesitation to clear this woman, our jewel, our ivory. Bianca, I so submit. Thank you, sir. Ojukwu.
Well, at this stage, I don't know whether there's any other thing we can say. Please, off your mic. A distinguished nominee, you can see that your people are solidly behind you, and they can attest to your character, your integrity, and your ability to serve your nation. So let me hear from your maternal home, distinguished Senator Ositango.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is it paternal home? Both. Oh, both paternal and maternal. Okay.
Mr. President, the beautiful nominee standing for.
I said restrict yourself to the resume. Forget this word, beautiful. I said restrict yourself. Restrict yourself. She didn't put in the CV that she's beautiful. Is that what she put? Where? Where? The zip it says beautiful Bianca. Okay. Okay.
Mr. President,
Okay.
Mr. President, Bianca Olivia Ojukwu Ojukwu is my sister from Ngwo, in the local government of Enugu State. Mr. President, a golden fish have no hiding place. And that is why the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria went and brought this woman who is very passionate about our country, who is very committed to see the growth of this nation, who will give all that is within her reach to make sure that this country gets to a greater height. Mr. President, you see, when Mr. President announced the nominees and put them in ministry where they are going to serve, it makes everything easier for us. Because she is posted to where she has absolute confidence and competence, where she is going to make a huge impact to this country. She's a lawyer and also a professional in diplomacy.
The Sergeant at Arms, give her a seat.
Mr. President, who else?
Give her a seat. Give her a seat. Sit down and jot down. Sit down. Sit down. No, we don't want any disaster here. All right. So if you are sure, are you sure? All right.
Mr. President, who else can serve in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if not somebody with this qualification? We call her Njenje. She's from my town, married to Neu, and that's why I also went to Neu to marry my own wife as a favor. We don't need to say more than what my brother from Anambra State have said, because our screening is to confirm the competence of the nominees. And everybody in this adult chamber agrees that Bianca is competent, and agrees that the portfolio assigned to her is where she has already excelled and performed creditably. What we are hoping is that as soon as she takes over her office, changes will come, positive changes. So, Mr. President, we thank the President once more for giving us opportunity. We had a Minister of Foreign Affairs from my town before, in the name of Ubem Onya. She is going to be the second Minister of Foreign Affairs from our community. And we always know how to perform. Mr. President, we just wish her the best. Remember, she is supposed to be a member of this Senate. If not that, she ran for Senate before. If not for the way it went, she's supposed to be sitting here in this hallowed chamber, screening other nominees. It means that she has a qualification and competence to understand what we do here. So as a colleague that I see her as, because she contested, I think it is the right thing. Having noted her competence and qualifications, we will have to tell her, with your kind permission, Mr. President, that Bianca should actually bow and go and do her work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Everything will not be complete if I do not hear from the only APGA senator in this chamber. Because I know she's the mother of APGA, distinguished Senator Abaribe.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. My name is Njenje Abaribe. I represent Abia South, and my party is the All Progressive Ground Alliance, of which she is our own mother. So I will make 2 points, Mr. President. 2 very key points that we probably are not noticing in the euphoria of everything that is happening today. First, while I adopt all the sentiments that have been said earlier by the Anambra senators and the one from Enugu State, I will say that one, maybe because of her, Mr. President, by bringing an African person to be a minister, has already started with what we call a unity government and looking for national integration. We can only ask that Mr. President goes much further, much further. But we commend him for this. Second, another commendation we will make for the president, which most people have also forgotten. We have on the floor of this Senate always sought that a president sending nominees to the floor must attach it with the portfolios. Today, we are seeing that the president has started by letting us know the portfolios of those that will go to the different areas, and that is commendable. And so I think that this, having been started, should be sustained by all presidents that will come and the president in his further changes, because I know that there are going to be more changes. To ensure yes, what I mean is that maybe more Afghan people should come to help this government. I thank you, Mr. President. I commend Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, and I urge my colleagues, seeing these two elements that have accompanied all the nominations that have come today, that we allow Bianca to bow and go. I so submit.
Well, distinguished colleagues, I know that Senator Abaribe is worried about what happens to APGA after this. So, and I saw him moving from seat to seat, asking people why. So, I decided that he should say something. But I want to thank you for commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for going across party lines to seek for the best of the best to save our country. And most especially, making the job of screening and confirmation easy, and even easier by attaching portfolios to the would-be ministers. Unprecedented. Now you can ask questions directly, relating directly to the portfolio of the minister. And like you said, no other president has ever done it. And no other person would have done it except President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having been a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. His wife has been a senator, and he has known the yearnings of the Senate. So we commend him seriously for attaching portfolios to these nominees. And we pray that future presidents will follow suit, so it will be easy for the Senate to do its work. My dear sister, I haven't heard any negative comment from the floor, but I'd like to ask you a question. You've had an experience as an ambassador. Very recently, I sent a delegation to Chad, and they came back and said that the Nigerian embassy in Chad, the building is in very deplorable condition. And I was in Ghana last week, and the same complaint. They have a land that they would like to build their embassy structure on, and many other places, Kenya, everywhere. People are complaining that the structures hosting the embassies are in terrible conditions. If you are confirmed by this Senate to go into that ministry? Will you focus on trying to rehabilitate, to give Nigeria a better image in terms of the structures of the various embassies worldwide? After that, you can take a bow.
Thank you very much, Senate President. In this respect, distinguished senators, I would like to say that my past records speak for me. As ambassador to the Kingdom of Spain, I spent an entire year in one hotel room because when I got to Spain, the mission building was in such an appalling condition. Together with very dedicated officers, we conducted massive renovation works, not just of the mission building itself, giving Nigeria an edifice truly deserving of a nation of its standing. The Nigerian embassy in Madrid that you see today is a product of my tenure in that country. And what was particularly sad about the previous state of the building was that it was very, very close to the Estadio Bernabéu, which is the home of Real Madrid Football Club. So it was such an eyesore that people who were going to the stadium for the various matches would pass the embassy building in its decadent state. But today, the Nigerian embassy in Spain is a magnificent building. Not only that, the residence of the ambassador was also given a facelift, and other buildings belonging to our country within that kingdom. It is true that in most missions, because of the poor funding, most ambassadors are constrained when it comes to carrying out refurbishment and renovation works. And this is quite unfortunate because a lot of the embassies are actually going through this situation. And I believe that not only does our Ministry of Foreign Affairs have to prioritize ensuring that missions abroad actually reflect the true magnitude of Nigeria's standing in the Committee of Nations. It is very, very important because this is what will give our nation the much needed respect to carry out diplomatic functions in a building that does not truly reflect the true standing of any country. Is very, very limited. And this has, to a large extent, diminished our standing around the world. And I think that this is something that the government under this president, in view of the four tenets of the foreign policy thrust, which is democracy, development, diaspora, and of course, looking at the fact that most of the people who have to come abroad, especially many of you from these hallowed chambers, who have to come for exchanges, study tours, etc., will be hosted in those buildings. It is imperative that when you're on those exchanges and you have to meet your compatriots and you also have to meet your colleagues in the host countries, that these meetings are done in respectable surroundings. Thank you.
Is it the view of the Senate that this nominee be allowed to take a bow and leave? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. You may now take a bow. The next nominee is Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta. Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta. Distinguished colleagues, we have before us Alhaji Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta, nominated by Mr. President for the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. Give us a brief resume of yourself, summarize or what you intend to bring to the table, and thereafter answer questions from distinguished senators. You have the floor.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Dr. Roswell Fabio GCON, Your Excellency, Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Dr. Barrow Ajibu, CNR, Senate, and other principal officers of the Senate, distinguished senators, good afternoon. I feel highly honored and privileged to appear before you today. My name is Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta. I was born on June 22, 1962, in Peggy local government of Kansas State. I began my education journey at Peggy Primary School, where I earned my first school leaving certificate in 1975. Thereafter, I attended Kano Community Commercial College, where I obtained the West African certificate in 1980. From 1980 to 84, I studied for a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics at Bayero University, Kano, and upon graduation, I did my military Western National Service program in Sokoto State from 1984 to 1985. In furtherance to my academic courses, I completed my master's degree in development studies between 2000 and 2002 at Bayero University, Kano. Prior to my nomination as Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development by His Excellency the President Ahmed Tinubu, ENDSears, I was appointed by the National Assembly through this August Senate as the Federal Commissioner of Kano State in the Public Complaints Commission from July 2024 to date. Before now, sir, I have also had privilege for serving as the Honorable Speaker of Kano State House of Assembly between 2017 to 2018. Your Excellency, the Senate President and the Senators, I was the majority leader of Kano State House of Assembly between 2010 and 2017. My stewardship in my home state of Kano State encompassed my membership of the state legislature through repeated elections in the enrollment sequence of 1999 to 2003, 2015, 2011 to 2015, 2015 to 2019. I had a break in my membership of the State Assembly from 2003 to 2007 when I served as Special Advisor to the Kano State Governor on Assembly matters from 2003 to 2005. As well, I served as a Special Advisor to the Governor on Intergovernmental Affairs from 2005 to 2007. I was also the senior special assistant to the Kano State Government on education between 2008 and 2010. In all this career exposures, my experience as a classroom teacher and a state inspector of business education and the Kano State Educational Resource Department 3 years were very helpful in shaping my understanding of the dynamics of public service and its work ethics. Sir, I thank His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for nominating me to serve as the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When confirmed by this August Senate, I promise to serve this country to the best of my ability. I shall use the experience I have garnered in public service over the years to assist the President in achieving his love of bringing prosperity to Nigeria through the new reform agenda. I also thank His Excellency, the President of the Senate, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Senate, and other principal officers of the Senate, as well as the entire distinguished senators for granting me this opportunity to appear before you today. I would like to especially extend my heartfelt appreciations to my senators from my state, Kano, in persons of His Excellency, the Deputy Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Dr. Barau Jibril, CFR, Distinguished Senator Abdurrahman Suleiman Kaur Sumaila, and the Distinguished Senator representing my senatorial district, that is Kano Central, in person of Distinguished Senator Rubai Sanhanga for all their support and guidance. Our distinguished leaders, may I on this note once again thank you all for the esteemed attention and accept my sincere thanks. God bless Nigeria. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That was State of the Nation address by the by the former speaker of Kano State House of Assembly, former majority leader, former member of the Code of Conduct Bureau, or public complaints. He's already part of us. Okay, let's point of order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I rise pursuant to Order 8 of 3 of our rules to move for an extension of time to enable us finish the business of the day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
So, President, esteemed colleagues, I rise to second the motion tabled by the Senate leader that we extend our time beyond 3 p.m. to allow us to complete the screening exercise. Beyond
3.
Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this hallowed chamber should extend the time beyond 3 p.m. to enable us to conclude all the items on the order paper. Those in support of the motion have moved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, distinguished Senator Kawu.
Mr. President, my dear distinguished and respected colleagues, I am Suleiman Abrahman Kawu Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District, Mr. President, from Kano. Mr. President, my dear distinguished and respected colleagues, before us is a nominee from Kano, a grassroots politician, highly intelligent and intellectual, connected with the people, a politician who started from the scratch to where he is today. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, on behalf of our people, I must commend President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who nominated one of us, Right Honorable Yu Abdullah as a member of Federal Executive Council. Quite all right. We are highly delighted. I keep saying one of us because, Mr. President, he is a member of Parliament, Kano State House of Assembly, where he started as a member, a leader, majority leader, and of course the Speaker of the House of Assembly. Mr. President, my dear colleague, now we are doing a very serious business in National Assembly toward the aim and aspiration of Nigeria, constitutional amendment, which we cannot start and finish it here unless and until we have the support of our state assemblies. I checked before I came in how many state assembly speakers accompany their former colleagues and the members of state assembly from Kano, and of course his friends from all over Nigeria who accompany him and come and witness his competition as a member of the Federal Executive Council. Furthermore, Mr. President, the nominee was screened or was confirmed by this Senate as Commissioner Federal Public Complaint Commission, which is recently as a commissioner from Kano. I am not a lawyer, but I have to borrow from some of our learned colleagues and my senior colleague who came off under a personal explanation, draw the attention of this parliament to give respect to our former nominee who passed through the screening and competition of this chamber. This one, Mr. President, my dear colleague, currently is a public complaint commissioner of Kano State, confirmed who facilitated or appointed by the National Assembly.
was our act. I am asking my dear colleague, based on his track record in the parliament, based on understanding we are looking to 36 state assemblies to embark on a very important business of our constitutional amendment. We need to give him the special recognition as one of us. I know definitely people like Senator Nalong, who is a former speaker, is eager to come in and contribute, but I think, Mr. Speaker and Mr. President, we need to be special and give him a special recognition. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Well guided. Senator Ethan William, you were once a speaker. What do you want to say now?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Ethan Williams. I represent Crossland Central. I want to speak on behalf of former speakers and say thank you to Mr. President for appointing one of us. Number one, for Right Honorable Bianca, not quite long this Senate confirmed. And I will also employ that as a former speaker, former majority leader, and having been in the legislature for that long, we should just allow him to take it back.
When Senator Hanga, say something.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Bianca, representing the Kano Central, the Central constituency where he comes from. Wow. Mr. President, all was said by my brother Kaus Mela and others, but I have this to say, sir. Despite the fact that I certainly endorse that we allow him to go and go based on the tradition of the Senate, to always honor our colleagues. Being a former speaker, I want to say this, that his appointment as a minister certainly threatens me because we are from different parties. And he is a political juggernaut. I know they are there to, I'm threatened, sir, but I support him. I support him 100%. But I'm threatened. He was my political ally, Mr. President. He was my political ally before, but he's now with you. And I think something must be done, sir. I'm your brother, sir. You must do something about this. You have to protect me. Thank you very much, brother. Please, sir, my esteemed colleagues, esteemed colleagues and friends, let us allow him go and go without any further question or comment. Let him bow and go. He's already a minister with the grace of God. Thank you very much.
The civil senator Anga, you are protected. The fact that you are from a different political party in Kano with the nominee will not in any way threaten you. You are a good man. You have an impeccable character, and you are a team player. I'm very certain that even Kano will join the center by 2027. So you'll be among those in the vanguard. So you are protected. The Deputy Senate President have carefully picked people from Kano, from Senator Kawu to Senator Hanga, and then now to you. Despite your party differences, you are all united in saying that the former Speaker and the former, I think it's still in the PCC, Public Complaints Commission, and former Majority Leader should be allowed to take a bow. So shortly after you make your remark, I'll put the question. But before then, the nominee, you are going to Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. how do you hope to provide houses for the vulnerable in the society? And what will you do to increase the quota of affordable housing units in Nigeria? Because things are very difficult today, and then a lot of people would not like to be homeless. Do you have any idea of any policy that you hope to bring forward? After that, the Deputy Senate President will now close the screening.
Excellency, sir, going by my experience of serving in capital housing operation for some years, I feel even though there should be difference between a state corporation and a whole federal ministry, but I don't want to make some comments or beat above the bush because the policy of this administration is 82 years now. So please, I need to probably take over and see the handing over of the ministry and know about the policies of the government about housing before somebody can put key in and put his input into whatever he's thinking about. I work in housing corporation. We had a popular program in Kano State Housing Corporation of owner occupier, which most of our civil servants benefited from. So I have that idea, but I don't know how it will fit in the policies of this administration. So, sir, I need to go to the ministry, take over, see the policies, how far they have gone, then to see how I will put in my best into perfecting the policy and achieving housing them to growth in Nigeria, sir.
Yeah, so in other words, you are committed to ensuring the availability of more affordable houses for Nigerians. Yes, Deputy Senate President.
SB. I thought you would give the honor to Bambo, but you decided to ask him a question. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, Chair. I wouldn't have said anything, but to quote the fact that Senator Councilman has spoken, Senator Vice Adanga has spoken, even though he's from the party in the state and in the country as well. Sorry, in the country, but their party is in my state. Well, principally, I want to commend and thank Mr. President for nominating this gentleman. Secretary have said it all. He's a strong grassroots, somebody who started from scratch and goes to the top, just like our president. That's why we are always eager to see our president, because he's someone, in fact, since the inception of democracy in this country from 1990 to date, there's no time whereby elected a president who started from scratch to the top. That's why we began from scratch to the top. That's why he knows all about his country. He knows all the nooks and crannies of his country. Tell him about one state, tell you the political configuration of one state. Talk to him about the state of acquiring. It's just like an encyclopedia. He'll tell you central increase, that increase. He'll tell you the names of the stakeholders, important stakeholders, but doesn't matter in those areas. That's why he decided gentleman should be nominated, because they understand the configuration of chemistry. So it fits into the arrangement, Mr. President, to bring about inclusion. I can see my friend and brother, senior brother, is threatened. He said he's threatened because of this, what is called sagacity. His someone that is loved by all and sundry, the youth, the ulama, students, women, business community. Everybody likes it because it's an house with them free. It's going to take the message of Mr. President down to the whole business in the entire of Nigeria. That's Chicago Central. That is the whole of Islam, where you have sheikhs, the sheikhs, the important part, the traditional institution is connected to them. He's a student of, well, I don't want to name because he's a student of sheikhs. So, Mr. President is wrong, and that's why we are proud of this. Besides that, he was one of us, in fact, he was appointed by this same OOC. He's still an appointee. He said, because he has not resigned, he's going to resign after we have found him. He served very well in the legislature of Kano State, majority leader, speaker. In fact, just like what someone said the other time, it's a round peg in a round hole. The president of this country, we need to commend him for looking around to pick people like nominee folks. And I tell you, I want to confirm to you that Kano is now taken over by APC Isha. It's a disappointment. Because the vacuum we have, to fill that vacuum. You feel the vacuum. Mr. President, if you are watching us, we are grateful to you. You love Kano. Just recently you gave us the headquarters and also the Women Commission. Just recently. Kano is grateful to you. We shall continue to support your government. We shall continue to help to strengthen your desire to bring prosperity to this nation. Mr. President, allow this gentleman to bow and go because it's time. He deserves this very important privilege enjoyed by seasoned former speaker. And so, thank you.
What we are saying has further threatened Senator Anger. Because so you really need the protection. Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to take a bow and go? Yeah. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yeah. But I wanted the deputy to go. We now invite Idi Mokhtar Maya to take the stage. Honorable Idi Mokhtar Mahar. Summarize your curriculum vitae and just give us a brief synopsis of the difference you want to make in the new assignment given to you if you are confirmed by the Senate. The floor is yours.
Principal of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May I also recognize the 10 senators from Adamawa State, that of Beauty. Alhaji Amin Yu Abdullah, District Senator representing Adamawa Central, District Senator Venus Dauda, representing Adamawa South, and my very own senator from Adamawa North, Senator Amos K. Yohana, Reverend. My name is Idi Mokhtar Maya. I thank the President of Nigeria for the award of this nomination. I hereby give you a brief of my history. I was born on 12 August 1957 in Maya, presently in my local government area of Adamawa State. I was enrolled into primary school in 1966 at Janipa Maya Primary School, my local government area, up to 1966. In 1973, I was a primary student of government school to Waza in present Lagos State. Interestingly, that is the hometown of distinguished Senator Muhammad Ali. The beauty of that arrangement then, I was coming from Mobi to Waza. Senator Dume was leaving Waza to Mobi. That crisscross posting of students at that time strengthened national unity and exposed students different social configuration of the country. From 73 to 1977, I completed grammar school in Uganda and gained admission into School of Basic Studies in Zaria. After having successfully passed the IGL examination, I was admitted to read political science in Zaria. After graduation, I was posted to the old Imo State for my mandatory national youth service course. I was posted to Akwete, specifically Obehi Grammar School. Obehi, Azumini, Akwete, Asa, Umahia, Umudike. I'm still very, very familiar with the geography of that area. And that couldn't have happened, but for that mechanism called NYC. And I'm very, very grateful for that. It gave me further insight into the country. On completion of my NYC, I gained employment with the then College of University Studies, UALA, as a lecturer. And again, I met distinguished Senator Bino Siaro, who was our chief accountant. And between me and him, it was a natural bonding. I served CPS Yola During the military era, I was appointed as the sole administrator of my Baba local government. Coincidentally again, that is the local government of distinguished Senator Binos. After his stint at my Baba, I was redeployed to Guib local government. After having completed that assignment, I was the pioneer director of College of Administration and Business Studies of Adamawa Polytechnic, which took over from College of Business Studies, Yola. In 1992, thereabout, I applied and was employed by the then Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation as a personal officer. I rose to the position of General Manager, General Youth Services, later deployed to HR, Human Resources, and was also posted to Nigeria LNG as General Manager, Human Resources. That gave me a further insight into the management of oil and gas. The LNG today in sub-Saharan Africa is one of the most successful oil and gas companies. After 3 years of service at the LNG, I was deployed to Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemical Company as Executive Director of Services. In 2016, we were working on McKinsey on certain reforms corporate-wide, and I was nominated to serve on that committee.
So the nominee,
yes, sir.
You can just go to the end and say you are ready to serve.
Yes, Mr. President. I was appointed the Managing Director of Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemical Company. I am, with all sense of humility, the first non-technical Managing Director of refinery in the NPC. I have, all along the line, incorporated a farm called Zaini Farms that was deeply involved in modern animal husbandry. Mr. President, distinguished principal officers, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I am here before you called upon by Mr. President to come and serve at a higher level to serve our country and move it forward, particularly the livestock sector. Mr. President.
Thank you. From your resume, we wouldn't leave here today if we had to listen to the things you have done. So I think the president took his time in selecting this set of ministers. I'm very, very, very impressed. So, distinguished Senator Shehu, you want us to take Binus first? Binus Yaro. Yes, just you have 1 minute so that we can have 1 or 2 comments.
Representing Adamawa South. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the nominee before you has already established his credentials, and he has shown that he is a well-considered choice by Mr. President. He has already told you that they have come a long way. It's like running race. When SDS, where I had gone before, went to ABU, where I had also gone for classification. He worked in CPS, where I was the chief accountant, and he joined set up a farm that not only bring crops but also bring animal husbandry. And this farm is a well-known farm, and it is a modern farm in Kaduna State. Mr. President, this nominee is a technocrat, is a human resource expert, he is a management guru. He doesn't need further elaboration. So, Mr. President, I ask my colleagues to allow him to just give us a vision, because he has shared the vision for the new office he's been appointed to with us, the senators who had announced yesterday. So he can just share that with us, and then we'll have to think about.
Thank you. Reverend Amos Johanna, distinguished.
Standing before us comes directly from my senatorial district. That has been explained. I just want to go further to say that this appointment is a round bed in a round hole, and that is not just a cliche, but something that has been proven. Having run the livestock industry for the last 19 years, with modern methods and technology, is eminently qualified to drive the livestock production of this country. Let me also add that in all the livestock development committees that Mr. President has set up, under Professor Tinubu, the nominee has participated all through the sessions, and the blueprint that has been produced is a very technical member of that. And so he is going into a ministry which he has helped develop already. So you will need that ministry running for anyone. With this, Mr. President, I want to use the voices of the people of Adamawa North and by extension Adamawa State to thank His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for this very, very good choice to put the livestock industry in Nigeria on the very right pedestal. We thank Mr. President, and we will ever remain grateful to him for honoring us by picking one of our best to serve in this government. With this, I recommend and I will move that though we are not afraid, because he is qualified to answer any question in livestock production, but he can take a bow and leave. I so submit, Mr. President, and I'm grateful.
Thank you. If you notice, while you were talking, the microphone came alive, which means that as a man of God, God opened your microphone for all to see and for all to hear. God of resurrection resurrected your microphone. Clerk of the Senate, I hope you noted that. I noticed you were shocked. I've been asking him, I said, people are not hearing what distinguished senators are saying. He said, they are working on it, We are tired of working on this. Look at, if not because of Reverend Amos, you see, once you brought that your ecclesiastical voice on the microphone, everything opened. No, before I put the question, Senator Shehu Boba, you wanted to use 30 seconds to say a word.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ahmed. Mr. colleagues, first of all, let me congratulate the nominee for being nominated by Mr. President. And Mr. President, I want to share or adopt the sentiment, so to say, by the two distinguished senators from Adamawa State.
Well done.
Distinguished Yaro and distinguished Senator who just spoke. Now, sir, the nominee is very much knowledgeable, versatile on the modern husbandry. And you can see that, sir, he understood the interests and the intricacies of farmers' herders crisis. Mr. President have done a right choice by nominating this man. And the rest assured, he was part and parcel on all the committees that came up with this idea of livestock ministry. And I believe he is capable to take this position. Mr. President, I'm calling on my distinguished colleagues to also confirm the nominee by Mr. President. Thank you. I so also meet Mr. President.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Nominee, from your resume and from the contributions of those who have related with you and known you for decades, they believe you are a square peg in a square hole. I must thank the president, because even for you to have been involved for 19 years in animal husbandry and all that, the question I would have loved to ask from here would have been that Nigeria has been bedecked by the problem of farmers, herders, crisis, leading to destruction of livestock, farms, farm products, and even human lives. Now that the president has decided to bring up this virgin ministry and to put it under your care because of your experience, can you just use 2-3 minutes to tell us what you think you will do to hit the ground running to bring all these issues to an end? Because with your appointment, I believe the people of Benue Plateau and others will have relief. Now, the microphone has gone again. Maybe we should call Reverend Moss, a man of God, to talk. So just give us a brief summary of your vision for the new ministry and how you intend to hit the ground running to solve the problem of farmers, herders, crisis, and bring sanity to bear.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President and Chairman of the National Assembly. Mr. Senate President wants to know what steps and mechanism will the new ministry adopt in order to curb all the crises emanating from that sector. On the basis of the handful bonus from the Ministry of Agriculture, from where this ministry has been carried out, the new ministry will intend to develop a database of all the infrastructure that are animal husbandry related. This is to say, all the grazing reserves in the country. We also want to know all the cattle goods that have been mapped out. We also want to know all the dams that are available. From there, we will drill down and make sure in the immediate, those grazing reserves that have no legal encumbrances, that is to say that they have been gazetted, we analyze the situation. What is their holding capacity? Do they have sufficient grasses? Do they have sufficient water? Are there clinics, veterinary clinics, etc., etc.? To our understanding, herders movement, there's a push and pull factor. The push factor from the north is the absence of fodder and water. We believe that feed and water is livestock. You can have grass where there is no animal, but you can't have animals where there are no grasses. In the immediate, our intention is to incentivize all herders and other animal rearers to remain where there are grasses, and the ministry will intend to work with other critical stakeholders to make sure that this vision is realized. The next distinguished senators is to do massive sensitization. Sensitization is in the sense that we want to, it is a battle of the heart and mind, to know that the herders have a stock that has value. It's beyond cultural farming. It is a business. It is such, it is an investment. And it is not that profitable if you secondarize. We intend to encourage people by bringing those incentives across all those 417 grazing areas in the country to make sure that those areas are suitable and have sufficient grass and water to contain those animals, so that the desire to move out will be needed. In this wise, we will require the support and solidarity of the National Assembly, the state governors, local government chairmen, and respective communities. These are the most important stakeholders. I believe these stakeholders, once we sit down and map out those low-hanging fruits from the presidential committee on the reforms of livestock, we will be able, in the not-distant future, to address the situation. Thank you, Mr. Senate President.
Thank you so much. Senator Danduse, you said you have advice for the nominee before he takes a bow.
Thank you, Mr. President,
yes,
for giving me the opportunity to speak on this very important ministry. I'm Senator Danduse Ahmed, representing Katsina South. I want to use this opportunity as a minister who is saddled with a very difficult task, because most of this criminality that is happening in Nigeria, you need to work as a minister to have a critical stakeholders meeting with the planning herdsmen that are moving from one part to another. Because if you look at the modern technology that is happening in most of the part of the world, especially I was in Netherlands, I have seen how they are partnering. I was in China, I have seen how they are doing. Because this incessant killings that is happening in Nigeria is uncalled for, and it is creating a lot of problems between different nationalities in Nigeria. Nigeria is blessed, so we have to use all mechanisms that are important to ensure that that movement is stopped and modern partnering is being embarked in this ministry so that it will stop, because the obsolete systems they are pursuing, that is what is causing most of these challenges in most of the part of the country, not in the south, also in the northern part of the country. My area, my zone is one of the leading zones that even the British came and established a settlement. And if you can collaborate with NAFRI in this area alone, I believe modern partnering can be embraced to carry out a very good, sustainable animal production and a lot of animal development in terms of what you are so. So, Mr. Minister, my respected colleagues, this is a very important, and it will reduce 75% of the criminality that is happening in this country. Thank you, Mr. President.
So that is like an advice to you.
Yes.
and that you should try and visit other climes. Like he said, he has been to China, he has been to Singapore and other countries to see how livestock is managed. So we will expect you to do the same. It's a new ministry, and you are very well versed in it, but also take stock of what is happening in other countries. What is happening in the livestock industry directly impacts on the security of the nation. The killing of policemen, the killing of communities, the destruction of farmlands, and all sorts of things. He's saying 75% of those things will come to an end once you can get it right. It's going to be a difficult task for you, but we believe you are very well qualified for it. Is it the view of the Senate that this nominee be allowed to take a bow and go? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may take a bow. Can we have the next nominee? Dr. Jumoke Oduwole.
Distinguished senator, please come back. Leave the nominee alone, please.
Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. Most of the senators have gone for oversight functions. Some of them are taking the police bill on new institutions. I told the Deputy Senate President to go and represent me there. So he's going to declare open the public hearing now. And some have gone to have meetings in the presidency, but many are watching you across the world. So you have to, don't look at the floor, look at Nigerians and give them your best in terms of what you want to bring to the table. The senators are still watching you also from even some of the committee rooms. So give us a brief resume of yourself and tell us what you want to bring to the table to prove industry, trade, and investment in Nigeria. And it's a major issue If we can have more foreign direct investment, we can have more creation of jobs, we can have more industries, automatically we can also have more employment opportunities. We can stop even the current industries in Nigeria from emigrating to other countries. You understand? Today, Lever Brothers is gone. Leventis is gone. Many of the textile industries, over 75% of the textile industries in North are gone. And unfortunately now, even the oil industry, many of them are going to the Bahamas, Angola, and new Uganda, and new locations and all that. So you have a lot of responsibilities to put the right policies in place and to be a great ambassador to attract foreign direct investment into the country, keep the existing industries while expanding investment opportunities in Nigeria. So you are welcome. Give us a brief resume of yourself and proceed to answer questions from distinguished senators.
The President of the Senate and Chairman of the 10th National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON. The Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Senator Rabiu Jibril, CFR. The Principal Officers of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, particularly the senator representing Lagos Central, my distinguished senator, Sani Wasil Eshinoku, distinguished senator Oluwati Adekunle, representing Lagos West, and distinguished senator Adetokunbo Abinu, representing Lagos East. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. Please permit me to start by first thanking God Almighty for today and His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for this nomination and for the confidence being reposed in me to serve our great nation in the capacity of Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, if declared by the Senate today. I am the third of 4 children. My late father, Professor Ojukwu, was a surgeon and the first Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University. My mother, Mrs. Clara Folashade Abiodun Olumide Nisholani, was the first women registrar of the University of Lagos. I am married with 2 children. I started primary school at the University of Lagos Staff School and attended Queen's College, Yara, Lagos for my secondary education. For my undergraduate studies, I attended the Faculty of Law at the University of Lagos and was called to the Nigerian Bar in 1999. I obtained my first master's degree from Cambridge University, England, with a concentration in commercial law, and then earned a second master's degree in international trade law, as well as a doctorate degree, both from Stanford Law School in the United States of America. My doctoral dissertation centered on negotiation asymmetry and developing country coalition strategy at the WTO. For my career, I started in investment banking at FCMB Capital Markets, a division of First City Merchant Bank, PLC. I then worked at Guaranty Trust Bank, PLC, before leaving 20 years ago to pursue a career in the academia, so I could invest in developing the capacity of young Nigerians to build our economy. I joined the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, in 2004, where I taught, researched, and published papers across several areas in the commercial and international law space. Since 2015, I have been on loan to the federal government of Nigeria, first as Senior Special Assistant to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment, and subsequently as Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business, both in the Office of the Vice President. I am currently the Special Advisor to the President on Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PED, and Investment in the Office of the Vice President, a position
position I have occupied since October 2023. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself.
Let's start from the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Once more, my name is Ahmed. Once more, let me remind all of us here that the nominee standing before all of us here is a great advocate. And as a great advocate, a great advocate.
What does that mean?
Product of the University of Lagos.
Huh?
A product of the University of Lagos. Akoka, Lagos. Akoka, Yaba, Lagos.
Oh, okay.
And that institution is actually a citadel of learning in Nigeria.
Well, I was speak to the resume of the nominee because the way you sounded like somebody who was.
That is why her whole educational achievement that has culminated in the Harvard School in the Massachusetts started. So that's the foundation. And so, sir, I only want to say at this moment that great advocates are always excelling in whatever position they find themselves.
Senator Abamodo, those who belong to Pan Drinkers Club, what do they call them?
You got it very right. At the University of Lagos, I was the director of the emblem, if you know what I mean. So, sir, on a very serious note, looking at the very rich resume of the nominee, I don't have any doubt in my mind, but to say that in the current exercise that we are carrying on, I think Mr. President has demonstrated some level of capacity to pick very, very vibrant persons, especially young ones, to mark the various ministries. Because the future belongs to the young people. And so if they are picked now to lead in the positions of government, I think they should show some commitment to build a future that they can inherit. And that is why I want to say that looking at this resume, quite frankly, from being from the best universities in the world to being advisor to the president on trade, on industry, and whatever, I think that we can only pray for her when she's eventually confirmed here to do her very best to ensure that our trade and investment improves very significantly. Because our fortunes in foreign direct investment, quite frankly, has been dwindling. And I hope that with her knowledge and experience, with her standing in the various aspects of trade and investment, she should be able to improve on our foreign direct investment in this country. Because that is the hub of investment. And we need, some of the conditions may be outside our circumstances, but quite frankly, I think a greater job of it depends on the person with the ideas, the person with the proper knowledge to do the right thing. And I think that she fits into that bill. And so I support her nomination, and I hope that my colleagues will support her nomination and approve her nomination so that she can hit the ground running as a great advocate. Thank you very much.
Listening to the minority leader commending Mr. President, sometimes I'm tempted to say that the president got it so right that the Senate should not bother and should tell the. If you agree with me. So this thing we normally hear, MIT. MIT is actually Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Is that what it is? Is that where you went to? Every time you say Agokai. What is Agokai? Okay. Thank you, minority leader. But please, let us try and ask the nominee question because she came here brimming with ideas of what she will bring to the table. The front, let's start from, you want to speak? But you just came in. Okay, before or after the majority leader? Huh? You were not there. Were you there when she came in? No, you were not there. Okay, let us start with the Southwest, the leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank you, my able colleagues, senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, I want to join also in commending the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for understanding and responding to the mood of the nation. Mr. President, Nigerians want changes in different sectors of our economy, of our nation, as soon as yesterday. And nothing is going to change unless we first change ourselves. And there's a change in the orientation as to the kind of people that will put forward to take over certain salient and peculiar responsibilities. Mr. Speaker, the nominee standing before us is Mr. President. Well, please, Mr. President, I need your protection from the minority leader who is trying to distract me. Mr. President, standing before us is a nominee who is not just a brilliant and accomplished thinker, but an extremely decent person. She worked as a banker. One of the major responsibilities of this ministry to which she been posted is to also manage and oversight banks, the Bank of Industry, African Bank, and some other finance-related institutions are a part of this ministry. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, she had worked as a public servant, having the right exposure up till this moment, and is in a position to hit the ground running in this ministry. She has worked as a teacher, lecturer, senior lecturer in the university, including the Lagos Business School. Her exposure, her education, her upbringing, child of a renowned professor, child of first female registrar of a renowned university. And those of us who also know her and members of the family, both the nuclear family and the extended family, can attest to the fact that she will be a round peg in a round hole. My only concern for her, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, is just that Nigerians who are familiar with her antecedents and the international community who understand her understanding of the language of development and the language of global best practice standards will have so much expectation from her. That is my concern, and I know by the grace of God, she'll be able to live up to that expectation. I can go on and on, but I won't, because I know time is of the essence, and I don't want to deny my colleagues an opportunity to speak. But let me just say that I believe the confirmation of this nominee by this hallowed chamber will be the right thing to do, and also would have indulged in the same attitude and the search for a change which motivated Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief in making this nomination.
I thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Deputy Senate President.
Mr. President,
Just before then, please. The special advisor, make sure all these code of conduct declarations inserted into all the CVs are removed. All we need, this one is there. This, what of this? Huh? What of this? I'm saying, please make sure that you return all to the owners. We only need the acknowledgement slip. We don't need their code of conduct. It's their private affair. It's not meant for us. So please retrieve all the CVs of all the nominees and return all their code of conduct declarations. All we need is just the acknowledgement slip, nothing more than that, because this is a private affair. Otherwise, you'll see social media will start publishing all sorts of things about them. Do you understand? Okay, please. Yes, sir.
So thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. Mr. President, I feel compelled to ask for your permission to speak because I think the president has to be commended for nominating the nominee. Nominee is a good example of our women in this country. It's a very good example because of our outstanding pedigree. Outstanding pedigree. She began from Queen's College, did law. I mean, after Queen's College, she went to University of Lagos, did law, but she was not satisfied. She has to go to Cambridge to do law again. Then moved to Stanford, an Ivy League college. Moved to another Ivy League college. MIT in Boston. This is amazing.
So you want to ask her how she will bring all those, qualifications to bear in her job?
No. What I'm saying is
because I've seen people with a lot of certificates. I've seen people with certificates and grammar, and they don't even know the meaning of democracy. Just in Edo State, there we had a governor who ruled for 8 years with only 10 members, and in also in 14. And he went to all these grammar schools and all that. Let's concentrate on what she will bring to bear, and how those how all those degrees will culminate into tangible benefit for Nigerians.
Nobody can give what that does not have. She has a background. I'm sure, going by what she has done so far in public service, she'll do more. And we need to encourage our women. Once they do well, we should encourage them.
Including, we should encourage them also in Kano.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Our women in the entire country, we're encouraging them. Because this is an astounding pedigree. This nominee has an astounding.
When are we going to have the first elected female member of the Kano House of Assembly?
Well, when God wants that to be done. In Kano, we're 99.9%.
But
it's always like a golden fish. I want you to see something to say it.
Go ahead.
I was meeting with Mr. President yesterday. He said he believes in people that have capacity. I can see why he said to create this nominee. She has the capacity.
I'm with you.
She has the capacity. And I have to strengthen this, need to expose our
I was there.
Our girls, our women will learn from her.
I was there.
Learn from her. Right? I'm not going to ask a question. I just want to say to our women who benefit from your kind of record. We see your record, and so they will try to emulate you. And so please, once you are cleared and confirmed, please do in line with the way you started. You started very well from Queen's College to Cambridge to Boston. You go everywhere in search of education. Go down to use
Exactly.
The benefit of this country.
Exactly.
That enjoy how the president brings prosperity to our nation.
Exactly.
Congratulate you.
Exactly. The deputy senate president. So, you see, the president has shown the way by encouraging women. All I ask you is, in Kano, by 2027, let's have the first elected female member in the Kano House of Assembly. Let's start from there. Yes, the chief whip.
Distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Mangono. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Well, I associate myself with all the encomiums fought on the nominee as a result of the very rich resume before us. Having associated with that, I want to ask a question. I've carefully perused through your resume and the various contributions, your widow's mite that you have contributed towards the ease of doing business in Nigeria, which is one of the major cogs in the wheel of our developmental aspirations. One of the reasons that drives away or discourages foreign direct investment in this country is as a result of the bureaucratic red tape and bottlenecks that is usually associated with doing business in Nigeria. I have seen you have been a special advisor on doing business. You have been the secretary of that council. What have you done so far to attract foreign direct investment by way of ease of doing business? What mechanisms have you put in place for the purpose of achieving that? And leveraging on your new elevation to the position of minister, what again are you going to bring to the table to ensure that there is ease of doing business in this country, doing away with all the bureaucratic bottlenecks and red tapes, so that we will attract foreign direct investment in this country and grow our economy? Thank you.
May Allah bless the chief whip of the Senate. I hope you noted that down. Distinguished Senator Eshulogu, this is your nominee.
Thank you, Mr. President. She's from Lagos and Central. She's from Isaliku, where I also come from. And I think she is a fit and proper person to occupy the position of the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Notwithstanding the combined effects of Section 147, subsection 1, 2, and 5, Section 65, subsection 2A and B. These nominees come with great potential.
Those sections they are quoting, are they relevant to what we are doing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. Let me tell you.
Read one of them. Read.
Okay, sir. I will read 147, section 1 and 2. There shall be such offices of ministers of the government of the Federation as may be established by the President. Any appointment to the office of the Minister of the Government of the Federation shall, if the nomination of any person to such office is confirmed by the Senate, be made by the President. 5 talks about the eligibility. It says, no person shall be appointed as a minister of the government of the Federation unless he is qualified for election as a member of the House of Representatives.
They are done. Done. You've captured it. You are talking about the competence, capacity, and the qualification. So,
yes,
so it's relevant to what we are discussing.
Yes.
So continue.
The fact that he's been around, when you look at his political fight, around without any scandal, without any contributing quietly to the development and progress of Nigeria. And we can also, my colleagues spoke about the capability. It's went to some of the best schools. I can attest to it because I was there. I went to the University of Lagos for my master's, and I did master's international diplomacy. I can attest to the fact that the kind of training you receive can only prepare you for the future. I was also at the Harvard Law School. I was also at Harvard Kennedy School of Government. I know.
Wait. You people should not don't intimidate us here.
You were the one that asked. So, because I was there.
Speak to this. You said you were there.
Also, when you look at our resume, you will also see that she's been involved, as it were, in WTO. WTO is simply the World Trade Organization that deals with international trade and all these what we're talking about, and she is going to be Minister of Trade and Investment. That teaches that comparative advantage of states on what they should do, how you can export it when you have comparative advantage. It also teaches you the safeguard that is inherent in all those provisions. That because she has done all of that, she will be of great. She's a great asset. She's going to be a great asset to the Ministry of Interior and Investment. And I'm not surprised that she has been involved in all of this. I also want to tell you that she is from Sweden, family of Isaleko. That will say that she's going to be responsible. She will work without acrimony with our colleagues and also our staff and also the committee, because we are attesting that she will be a good ambassador. She's been a good ambassador. She will continue to be a good ambassador, and she will continue to contribute effectively and to the progress of this nation. I commend Dr. Jumoke to the Senate and for confirmation. Please, I've noticed the sudden interest of my colleagues wanting to ask questions. You are entitled to it, but remember, we do not ask your nominees questions. Please, time and justice with message. If not, please.
You know, the Wasiu, Ejologu, normally you are such a calm man. I did not know that you can have this kind of side. To be very honest, I'm very impressed with your submission. And even the fact that we recognize you to speak, and she also hails from Isaleko, like you, and then you are the senator there. I think your speech should actually be taken by all. I think, am I right? I don't think there's any need for the Senate to go further. But I don't know why do we have so much interest in Jumoke? She's ably qualified for you to consider. From what I'm hearing, everybody, we wouldn't Abdullah Buhari, Abdul Fattah. I didn't recognize you. I only mentioned your name. Okay, so distinguished, you can go ahead, but please make it short, because what Eshilogu, the speech of Eshilogu has sealed it, and then her resume has shown that she has the capacity. We will put the question right. Okay, maybe after you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari Abdul Fattah. I was eager to talk because I chair the industry committee at the 8th Assembly.
No, Sonny, you have to say something.
I chair the industry committee at the 8th Assembly, and I know what is happening there. So my question straight to Madam is, number one, there are about 9 agencies under industry law, apart from trade and investment. And these 2 big agencies are going to be under you.
And if you see Bank of Industry, they concentrate only on the big industry. What are you going to do to help Nigerians who are just coming up that needed only small amount for their business to strive? Number two, a lot of moribund companies in the country today. What are your plans for you to handle some of them so that they will be able to survive and increase employment rate of our youth roaming the street? Number three, most companies or industry are leaving Nigeria today to the neighboring countries, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and the rest. What are the plans or the incentive you are going to give to sustain most of them to stay behind, probably after we have improved the system? And then, lastly, what is the encouragement they are going to give our local industry to export whatever they are producing here in order for us to get more foreign exchange to sustain and help our own economy? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for that. There's distinguished Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Muhammad Sani Musa, representing Njenje Senatorial District. First, like my colleagues have done, to commend Mr. President for this, especially this singular appointment. Because just as the Reverend said, a square peg in a square hole. She is. Nigeria has been diligently working under this administration to ease doing business. We have seen what has happened previously in this country. Minister of Trade and Investment, your functions, a lot of people tend to confuse it with industries. But the framework for any industry to work must have a subtle and well-defined trade and investment policies for a country to be able to get it right. You were a special advisor, the ease of doing business. You have an interaction with WTO, and I'm sure you know quite a lot of things that have been happening within our own domain, especially when it comes to do with tax waivers, tax holidays, startups incentives that usually come from Ministry of Investment, Ministry of Trade, and a lot of abuses that have been going on. In the last 5 years, Nigeria have lost close to about 17 trillion in waivers, in holidays. The policies we have in the free zones, as Minister of Investment, Trade and Investment, you will need to look at them. They should not be different from what is being practiced in other advanced economies. I know with your qualification and exposure, you will turn around Ministry of Trade and Investment. You make sure that issues where waivers are just given for everything is looked into so that Nigeria can yield more. And even those companies that are running away out of Nigeria, there's a lot of capital repatriation that they are doing instead of direct foreign investment coming into this country. They are coming to take a lot out of this country. So I'm sure you will come with your experiences to make things better for this country. I congratulate you, and I believe that you are going to do the best for this country in that sector. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Adams Oshumole.
Thank you very, 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 very much indeed. I guess that the reason a lot of us want to talk is precisely because she's worth talking to. Nobody wants to ask a full question. But your CV says it all, quite intimidating. I'm also proud of going to see that my daughter went to Stanford. She's a doctor, a fellow in Stanford. So I am at home with your CV. I'm also convinced that, Mr. President, your nomination is different from others. Like the Senate President said, you can have a ton of academic qualifications to teach, to be intellectually sound, different from being a doer. What makes your case compelling for me, why I don't think the Senate will have no hesitation, should have no hesitation in confirming you, is because the President has appointed an insider who has worked with him. And therefore, I want to assume, and I believe he has done so because he's satisfied with your performance at the current level that you are serving. And I congratulate you for that. It's not hard, it's not easy to earn the trust of Mr. President, and you have earned it. Which is why I am able to ask you, therefore, what will you do differently? Mr. Senate President, you summarized in your opening remark, you draw our attention to what many Nigerians will be expecting from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment. You reminded us of those industries that have relocated, not that they went bankrupt. They simply relocated elsewhere. You mentioned a few of them, and I can mention several more across the country. Michelin, Dunlop, the textile sector, the rubber sector, they've all relocated. And yet, Nigeria is their key market. Now, what I was going to ask you is, and given your training, you just went to WTO, you have a spell of training around trade issues. So you are truly more than a square peg in the square hole, but in a ministry that will define the success and failure of any government. Are we going to continue to export jobs and import unemployment? Or are we going to create jobs and use our population as an incentive to bring foreign investors, not only to come, but to remain here? What are we going to do to protect current investors, which for me is the best advert to attract foreign investors to come? When Senator Sani was talking, I had mixed feeling about his contribution. Because, Mr. President, sir, some of those waivers are meant to be part of the incentive. Tax holidays are meant to be part of well-thought-out incentive, because investors are greedy by nature. So you need to give them a bait to bring them in and tell them whatever profit you make for the first X number of years, you pocket it. Those are the kind of, so it is not necessarily waiting, except where the application is now informed by some other consideration that might be inimical to sustainable growth and development. What can you do straight away? Can we ever get the auto industry back? You are in Lagos, and I'm sure you are not too young to remember Volkswagen. Today they make beautiful vehicles. So, is there any hope if we revise our policies that led them to vote with their feet? What kind of policy do you think we need to have in place for the automobile sectors to come back? The Volkswagen of this world, the Toyotas of this world, the Peugeot, the Mercedes-Benz, all of them that are on Nigeria roads today, they were here before. Now we consume, you will know, I'm sure as having been in the system, how many tires made by Dunlop or Michelin that are consumed in Nigeria, even after they have voted with their feet, the target of for their market. What do we do to use our population as the main instrument to bring them back? And with your knowledge of WTO, are you sure they are fair? Their rules are fair to countries that are growing. At a time when even America, as we speak today, has imposed 100% duty on cars made in China. They are the greatest proponent of free trade, but they recognize the danger of not protecting American auto industry. So to protect General Motors and all those companies in US that have been manufacturing cars, particularly these electric cars, the Chinese appear to have mastered the skill so that the way the General Motors can compete is for America to increase their duty by 100%. So what will we do as Nigeria to say to Dunlop, you can't sell here if you don't locate here? To tell Macheli, if you left us, your product cannot come here. Because that is the only thing we have to sell, ourselves. The textile industry, of course, looking at the way we dress, and Mr. Senate President, when I was a textile worker, you are an example of Nigeria consumption pattern. Our consumption per capita is higher than average in Africa, or even in the world, because of our mode of traditional dressing. One person wearing 8 meters at his strength. Forget about my own small size of 2 feet by 2 feet. So I congratulate you. I believe you deserve to be confirmed, but I want to be educated, using the opportunity of this hearing as to how do we deal with this challenge of more companies leaving us and yet selling their goods to Nigeria. All those textile factories, Mr. President, that left, they didn't leave Nigeria alone. They just relocated. Instead of having Chinese company, now we have Chinatown. What did they sell in Chinatown? They sell all sorts of things, including substandard fabrics. But in Nigeria, they were producing high-quality fabric in Ikorodu in Lagos, since you are from Lagos State. Ikorodu is gone. Aflon is gone. President clothes, the way they were making the kind of clothes our president is wearing, gone. Not that they never went bankrupt, they relocated. So how do we bring them back? Awolowo's legacy, Nigeria textile mill in Kenya, gone. What we achieved in the 60s, we have lost it in the 90s. So I am very confident that given your knowledge of trade negotiation, because trade policy is at the root of it, given your training and your experience with WTO, for which some of us are very, very critical, I got as far as China, Hong Kong, to test against WTO, when they want to tell third world countries to dumping ground for Western goods. So I want to be educated by you. I'm not doubting your competence, but I believe that you are worth asking questions so that we can go home better informed about our future with regards to industry, trade, and investment.
Thank you. I don't know whether, do you want to finish the questions and answer all at once? Yes, because you have to understand that sometimes having this kind of fantastic resume can also be a problem. So, because everybody thinks that she's very exposed, she's very highly educated, and she's very qualified, if the Senate thinks so. And therefore, they would like to hear from her how she will reposition trade and investment. This is actually why you have so much hands up. It's because of your resume. Even I even noticed now that you even have you've been given a national honor or a member of the Federal Republic, MFR. That is because of your past record. So you have a lot to contribute. Let me just give 2 chances to people, and then I give you an opportunity to answer. Distinguished Senator Issa Jibril.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibril, representing the very good Kogi Eastern. Your Excellency, my comments are advisory.
Advisory.
Advisory. I want to dwell on the nexus between ease of doing business and import substitution strategy. As you are aware, so many goods are still being imported into Nigeria, and the government is trying
the AC has gone off.
to ensure that these items are produced in Nigeria. First, to ensure that we make maximum use of our raw materials, to also ensure that the drain on our foreign exchange reserve is curtailed, and to ensure that employment opportunities are generated. But the import substitution strategy in Nigeria is not working. The companies here are not properly protected, and I want to take note. They are not sufficiently protected. Your Excellency, there are situations where some of these items imported into Nigeria, okay, are cheaper than those that are cheaper. It is in fact less expensive, okay, to buy some of these items from outside than those from within. The implication of that is that cost of doing business here is so high. We need to take a look at that. Okay? Your Excellency, I want to also suggest that there should be a relationship, and a very strong one at that, between this ministry and Raw Material Research Institute. There are so many additives, okay, that are imported into Nigeria today, especially in the pharmaceutical and chemical industries. Those additives can be produced in Nigeria. If you liaise with the Raw Material Research Institute, they can be produced in Nigeria. We need to create an industrial hub, okay, where some of these companies, and they are not big companies, these are small to medium-sized companies. You keep these companies there, incubate them, give them all the necessary incentives. They will be able to produce some of these additives. And these additives are very important. Without them, production cannot go on. Without them, you cannot complete production, okay, process in Nigeria, especially in the pharmaceutical vaccine and in the chemical industry. I want you to set up a unit in your ministry to liaise constantly with Raw Material Research Institute, okay, so that some of these companies can be incubated, can be grown, and then most of the additives that we are putting into Nigeria today, we produce within. We conserve as much as possible our foreign exchange results. So on the whole, I commend her, I congratulate her, but I want to please take note of some of these areas that I have mentioned. I thank you.
Yeah, so what it means is you may be among the first of the new ministers to convoke a kind of national dialogue on trade and investment with a view to getting inputs from stakeholders and practitioners. You understand? It will help you to reposition your ministry and meet the aspirations of Mr. President and the renewed hope agenda of the President. A lot is expected from you. Why? Because of your resume. So, Ide Dafinone, distinguished
colleagues, Ide Dafinone, representing Delta Central. I want to say, Mr. President, that Dr. Oduwole's qualifications, experience, and ability is not in any doubt. The interest that we are all showing here today is, as you said, in the capacity that she has and what she has to offer Nigerians. I'm an exporter, and in my previous life, I represented exporters at the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. And in that capacity, we have identified that Nigeria's need for foreign exchange can be served through growing non-oil exports. That growing of non-oil exports falls within the minister's portfolio. One of the biggest incentives for growing non-oil exports is the Export Expansion Grant. And this has been managed over the last 20 years in fits and starts. At the moment, it is in one of its fits. And it is shown by the numbers for the last 20 years that any time the Export Expansion Grant is being properly applied, exports, non-oil exports, grow in leaps and bounds through those periods. So the non-oil exporters have asked me to put to the nominee a question to ask her what she will do in terms of growing non-oil exports. Thank you very much.
So, the ball is in your court.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for these very pertinent and interesting questions. I would like to recognize and appreciate comments from distinguished minority leader, distinguished leader of the Senate, the distinguished Deputy Senate President, the Chief Whip, my Senator, the distinguished Senator from Lagos Central, and specifically questions from Senator Buhari Abdullah. And I'll come to answering this question. I want to group them. Questions from distinguished Senator Mohammed Sanusa. Questions from distinguished Senator Adam Oshomori.
and questions from the distinguished Senator Ojukwu, and questions from distinguished Senator Bianca. What I will do, with the kind permission of the President of the Senate, is to group the questions in a way that the answers will flow coherently and to touch on what has been asked of me today. Our first group, economic focus on investment, productivity, and job creation. Since the commencement of President Ahmed Tinubu's GCFR administration, key reforms in monetary and fiscal policy aimed at stabilizing the economy have started to deliver some results. In terms of inflation, gently starting to come down, and tax reforms are also ongoing. Perhaps what we now need to deliver is the convergence of these two pillars of monetary and fiscal policy with trade, investment, and industrial policies to further drive growth. While acknowledging that in the last 5 years, FDI has declined by about 86%, and we've had about 20 multinational companies exit or scale down, the three priority areas that I would work on to align with the existing and ongoing policies, if confirmed by this Hallowed Chamber, would be investment protection and attraction, boosting exports and foreign exchange earnings, and creating productive jobs through vibrant domestic industry. Recent efforts by His Excellency, Mr. President, in his capacity as Chief Investment Officer of the Economy, has yielded some tangible results, and the key role of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and NIDC and agency under the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission in seeing that investor confidence is fostered. In September 2023, Mr. President secured nearly $14 billion pledges from Indian investors for steel development, petrochemicals, power, and more. And a year later, on September 6, 2024, Njenje Steel Africa committed $3 billion to Nigeria's steel industry on the back of the ongoing economic reforms. So retaining domestic investment and deepening these reforms will help attract even more foreign direct investment. That was the first question, and that's really what we need to do, to stay the course and to deepen and quicken our reforms. Another example I'll touch on quickly is Outsourced Global, a service company that is currently receiving technical assistance from colleagues in the Office of the Vice President. They have an initiative focused on exporting IT services and delivering, which are being delivered by young Nigerians living in Nigeria on a global scale. So they're earning foreign exchange while living at home. And I was asked a question about how do we create jobs and are we going to continue to import? We are exporters of services. One of the most important things that needs to be done is collaboration, coordination of ministry, department, agencies, regulators, and infrastructure to jointly strive towards improving competitiveness in energy supply to support productivity and competitiveness of our businesses. I have a proven track record on being able to collaborate across all arms and levels of government. Indeed, the 8th National Assembly, in attracting capital for and credit for small and medium-sized enterprises, the National Assembly passed the Collateral Bill, which is the secured credits and transactions, which enabled the central bank to have legal instruments to have a collateral registry nationwide that enables banks and microcredit institutions to lend to more small businesses. Another area would be the supporting of free trade zones and special economic zones to enhance operational efficiency They're very important for manufacturing investments coming to Nigeria and promoting localized production. Nigeria has 55 licensed free trade zones currently contributing to the GDP, but there's a lot more, and significant jobs can be produced by that. The second thing in the area of trade, boosting exports so that we can earn more foreign exchange. As we support MSMEs and larger enterprises to access markets, collaborating with stakeholders to increase exports, supporting them practically and tangibly, Nigerian Export Promotion Council leads this charge, and there's a lot more that can be done. Even the silver lining in leveraging the current FX rate is an opportunity to deepen exports, because our goods are currently cheaper for exports and also cheaper for domestic consumption. So it's an opportunity for all of us to buy Nigerian, to support Nigerian businesses, and consume what is made in Nigeria. That will create jobs and encourage businesses and make sure they stay in business. Another example is working with the very experience, working with over 53 ministries, departments, and agencies at the federal level. One example that comes to mind is partnering with Nigerian Customs Service on delivering reforms to ease of doing business. By making sure that the trade facilitation is continuing to be improved, the Nigerian Customs Service leadership recently launched the Authorized Economic Operator Program, which enhances trade facilitation, and recently accepted and agreed to include the private business champions, the Platinum Private Business Champions, which are 23 businesses that earn over $1 billion per annum in revenue, into the next cohort in Q1 of 2025. This will ameliorate existing difficulties within supply chain and strengthen Nigerian export promotion in the global community. Another key area will be the African Continental Free Trade Area, supporting businesses to export high-quality products. Having jobs is not enough. We need jobs that are productive. We need jobs that have a high level of income for Nigerians. And services is another good opportunity, as I already spoke on. We need to align with global standards and regulations so that our goods seamlessly cross our borders and we can earn the dollars that we so desperately need. We can plug into global value chains. An example that would name one, there's an EU deforestation regulation which mandates that producers or suppliers of goods originating from countries outside the EU must prove that they're not from recently deforested lands or are not contributing to forest degradation. Now, this regulation is coming to effect at the end of 2024, and the regulation impacts commodities critical to Nigeria's economy, including cocoa, palm oil, rubber, which constitute 9.3% of Nigeria's non-oil fuel exports to the European Union. Without compliance, the impact of this will be to put Nigerian exporters in that agricultural space at risk, especially the cocoa industry that contributes about 70% of Nigeria's agricultural exports to the EU. They will be at immediate risk. So those are some of the things that need to be addressed properly.
Oh, are you true? Because you were interrupted. Continue. I'm listening to you. Nigerians are listening to you. The global community is listening to you. So forget the man who is telling you it's okay. He wants to go and eat. Huh?
The third thing will be to create productive jobs through vibrant domestic industry. And I spoke about the need for high-value productive jobs. Effective regulatory reforms and ease of doing business. Not to buy in that direction because I've worked on that for the last 9 years. but to say that that's a pivotal area that will allow Nigerians, for example, focusing on AFCFTA to align Nigerian companies to access a $3.4 trillion African market of 55 countries with a population of 1.3 billion people. We'll create jobs, we'll expand our workforce capacity by doing this. To touch on regulatory reforms and why they're so important, the mandate of the Council that I had the privilege of leading the intervention of the last 8 years focuses on people issues, processes, and to a lesser extent, infrastructure, specifically the cost and speed of doing business and transparency. Currently, distinguished Senator Sadiq Umar, representing Paramount, and the chair of Senate Committee on Trade and Investment, is the current representative of the 10th National Assembly on the Presidential Enabling Business Council. And together, that council, the members of that council, have continued to work on 5 key areas: legislative reform, of which the 9th National Assembly also passed the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provision Act of 2022, unprecedented regulatory reforms. The 8th and then the 9th National Assembly also passed reenacted the Companies and Land Matters Act 2020, which has not been overhauled in 3 decades. The impact of these was a 70% reduction in business regulation time and an increase in formal MSME regulations, which also contributes to the revenue of the federal government. So regulatory reforms is another key area. We've worked on transparency, efficiency, things like visa on arrival, to ease the entry of, for instance, you can have a business meeting on Mondays in Switzerland.
Distinguished ministerial nominee, you are talking about the things you have done already. What the Senate wanted to hear are the things you are going to do, because we are saying that things can get better with your coming as a minister. You understand? So if you focus more on the things you have done in the past, we will not be too impressed. We want to know the things you are going to do to make things much, much better based on your experience and resume. So I would suggest that you collate most of the things that you heard, the questions, the comments, and the advice. Put them together to go and use those things when you are in the office as working tools. You understand? To commence the reforms you are going to put in place to revitalize the sector in the area of trade and investment. I must say that you've done very well. I offered you a seat, and you said no, that you don't want the seat. So if you fall, it's not the fault of the Senate President, because I done my part. And then, but just before I put the question, I noticed you've done a lot of publications. On your page 4, you publish a journal in the Private and Property Law Journal, International Trade Disputes Remedies, How Equitable for Africa. Those were your thoughts. And you went further to publish WTO Special and Differential Treatment, Africa's Golden Fleece or Trojan Horse. Am I right? And so many others. So you're a thinker. And I know that you think out of the box if the Senate confirms you. But just before you go, I want to also acknowledge the presence in your delegation of your dear sister, Mrs. Oyinka Badejo Oguzanya, who is not only my learned friend, but was the chair of the recently concluded Nigerian Bar Association a conference in August. So it means it's a well-bred family. I thank you for coming to the Red Chambers with your delegation. Distinguished colleagues, Can the nominee now take a bow? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Can we now invite the last nominee, Schwaber? Sueba Said Ahmad, PhD. Sueba Said Ahmad, PhD. This one is coming to the Ministry of Education. Which state? Senator Bangira? You mean from Jigawa? You don't mean it. Is that why you remove your cap? Okay, congratulations to Jigawa. Honorable Minister nominee, just give us a brief resume of yourself, and thereafter answer a few questions from the distinguished senators.
The Senate President and the Chairman of the National Assembly, His Excellency Senator Godswill Ahmed, GCON, the Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Senator Barrow Jibril, CFR, the principal officers of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, special recognition to senators from Jigawa State, my senator, distinguished Senator Bianca, representing Jigawa Northwest, distinguished Senator Abdulhamid Malam Maduri, representing Jigawa Northeast, distinguished Senator Habib Mustafa, representing Jigawa Southwest. May peace and blessings be upon you all. It is a great opportunity to stand before you today as a nominee for the position of Minister of State of the Government of the Federation. I would like to use this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Tinubu, for finding me worthy of this nomination to be a member of his esteemed cabinet. I am Dr. Sueba Ahmed, born on the 13th of February 1981 in Bagra, Jigawa State. I had my primary and secondary education at Bayero University, Kano Staff School, where I graduated in 1991 and 1997, respectively. I had my university education at Bayero University, Kano, where I studied education chemistry and graduated in 2003. Immediately after my graduation, I commenced my NYSC at the Department of Education, Bayero University, Kano, between 2003 to 2004. I started my career at Bayero University, Kano in January 2005 in the Department of Education. Immediately after, I enrolled for my master's degree in curriculum studies in the same university. I graduated in 2009. I further enrolled for my PhD at Ahmed University, Zaria, where I studied science education and graduated in 2014 successfully. In 2000, at Bayero University, Kano, I rose from graduate assistant to the rank of associate professor in 2021, where I held various administrative positions, from head of department to subject academic to director of Center for Gender Studies, and also to provost Jigawa State College of Education and Legal Studies. At Bayero University, Kano, as a director, I'm a strong advocate for gender equity, with particular emphasis on educational opportunity, educational access for women and girls. I led and participated in various researches that has to do with education, issues around education for girls education. At the same time, as an educationist with about 20 years of experience, I worked as a consultant, as an education consultant with different non-governmental organizations, among which are British Council, Education Data Research and Evaluation, EDORE, Partnership to Engage Reform and Land, PAL, Partnership for Learning for All in Nigeria, PLAN, and Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FCDO. Some of the projects that I participated in include development, reviewing, and demonstration of various policies on education in Kano and Jigawa State. Some of the policies that I worked on are teacher policy, girls' education policy, gender policy, non-state school policies are just a few of the policies that I supported the state in either developing, domesticating, or reviewing. I also assess different policies at state and federal level, including gender and social inclusion, school safety, safeguarding, all in the sector of education. I also participated to conduct a place-level assessment of the education sector to provide relevant information. At the same time, I also conducted a better review of the existing IQTE project, that is Integrated Quranic and Sharia Education in Jigawa State. Apart from that, there are other projects that I participated in, but part of those projects is the evidence research on identifying, recruiting, and deployment of effective teachers. I also participated in the research in understanding factors shaping teacher quality, where we adopted a problem-driven analysis to understand factors that lead to low teacher quality. These are just a few of the researches that I undertake in the field of education. In March 2024, I was appointed the Provost, Jigawa State College of Education and Legal Studies, Rinjim. As the Provost, some of the notable achievements to my credit include securing full application for all academic programs in the institution. This is a strong achievement as the institution has never undergone a reapplication since the program were approved in 2015. At the same time, I facilitated issuance of certificate to all graduate students, which is the first in the history of the institution, and addressing a long-standing issue with regard to students getting access to their certification. I was also a member of a technical working group member of UBEC between 2021 to 2023. Part of my activity as a member of that technical working group include the development of 10-year strategic plan for UBEC, and also the development of UBEC roadmap 2022 to 2030. I also participated on national partner audit for UBEC. Your Excellency, sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself to this cabinet, to this Senate, and I assure you, if confirmed, my drive will be towards actualizing this administration agenda on education. Thank you very much.
Let me commend you first and foremost that your voice does not need microphone. Yes. Your voice does not require any microphone, and we are very impressed. And your nomination is clearly what I may call a promise made and a promise kept by Mr. President. He had promised that he was going to carry the youths of the country along, not just in his cabinet, but in his government. And he was here to elevate the status of the youths of the country. And much more significant is the fact that you are going into the educational sector at a time when the Deputy Senate President is yearning for more women to access higher education in northern Nigeria. And all of us are in support of his aspiration. So you're a role model for the northern youths, for the girl child in Nigeria and globally. We welcome you. We are very impressed with you. I'm not saying she's cleared. I'm not saying she's confirmed. But I'm only saying let Senator Babangida say a word and let her take a bow and go. Because she represents the population, the youthful population that we must encourage in this country. And we must commend Mr. President for her nomination. Babangida, say something.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Chairman sitting at the chair. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Babangida Husseini, representing Jigawa Northwest. The nominee standing before you, Mr. President, is known to me since her primary school days. Her father, one of the most erudite and dedicated public officers in my state, was my first Director General in the Alice Art Administration. What she represents, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is the vibrancy of the youth, the intellectualism of the youth, and the adventurism of those who are yearning for change. I commend Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for finding her worthy of nomination, and the governor of Jigawa State, who actually pulled her out of the university system and made her the rector of Jigawa State College of Islamic and Legal Studies, Ringim. She did exceedingly well there. Her resume and her background as a gender specialist is also a big plus to the ministry because she is going to champion the advancement of the girls' education project in the north and at the same time give deeper fillip to the development of curricula which will enhance the enrollment of girls' education. I assure you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that Tesueba is from a disciplined family, coming from an educational background. The father is a professor of education, and I believe she will add value to the Mr. President's renewal of agenda. Distinguished colleagues, I plead and beg that Dr. Sueba requires no further introduction. She has done very well. She has given a good account of herself before us here, and I request that Mr. President will graciously approve that she takes a bow and leave. Thank you very much.
This is the first time they are getting the name right. In the other CV, the spelling was wrong. But here, now you just pronounce the name. Shueba. And she's a chief of the old block. Professor Anthony Ani, this is somebody from the academia. Do you have any advice for her? No. He's a professor. He came from the university too.
I commend the nominee very highly, having given a good account of our stewardship over these years. However, there are few things that I would like to engage our attention as she assumes duty as the Minister of Education of this country. Some issues are very fundamental, including the ongoing strike by university workers, non-academic in particular, And there is equally an impending strike by the academic staff union of universities. The 2009 agreement has been a lingering issue over these years. And no person, none of the past ministers have been able to tackle it. So I would want you, as you assume duty, that should be your priority. Because university lecturers are suffering. They are in serious trouble because it is demanded of them to do research, to do teaching, to do community services with bigger resources as salary. They are not meeting up with all these demands. And equally important is the issue of 4 months with their salary of ASU. Their 4 months salaries have been withheld all this time. Please, that should engage your attention so that this recurring decimal of strike should be a thing of the past. Every time university lecturers or university workers are going on strike, and people outside the system will always blame them. Why? I don't think that should be the situation. Let it get your attention because you are coming from the system. Let the good news we hear after now be that all these problems, teaching problems, are surmounted. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues.
Professor Anthony, thank you so much. My dear nominee, the Senate is quite impressed with you. And like we said, we want you to be the ambassador of the girl child, not just in northern Nigeria, but in Nigeria generally. And we look forward to your continuing to give the service and services that you have been rendering to your country. We commend Mr. President very highly for bringing a youthful person like you to be in the cabinet. And with your resume, we have no doubt that you will perform. So you may now step forward and take a bow. Is it the view of the Senate that this nominee be allowed to take a bow? Yes. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we report progress.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, may I at this point move that the strangers be now made to exit from the chamber so that we can continue with the confirmation here. I so move.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I support the motion that permit strangers to exit the chamber to enable the Senate continue the business of the day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the leader of the Senate has moved a motion invoking our floor privileges as contained in our order paper in section 12. And no person shall be admitted to the lobby of the Senate while the Senate is in session, except by the consent of the Senate upon a motion by the leader of the Senate, seconded by the minority leader. The reverse has now been the case, that all those earlier admitted into the Senate should now exit the Senate for us to continue our business. Those in support of the motion are moved by the Senate leader and seconded by the minority leader say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The sanctity of the Senate is hereby restored. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Nentawe Yield Water Nentawe Yield Water for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Dr. Nentawe Yield Water is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi is hereby approved for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Bianca Odinaka Ojukwu for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Bianca Odinaka Ojukwu as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Right Honorable Yu Abdullah for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta for appointment as Minister of the Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Idi Mokhtar Mahar for appointment as a Minister of the Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Idi Mokhtar Mahar for appointment as a Minister of the Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will you approve the nomination of Dr. Jumoke Oduwole for appointment as a Minister of the Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Jumoke Oduwole for appointment as a Minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Shuaiba Said Ahmed, PhD, for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment and nomination of Shuaiba Said Ahmed, PhD, as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is hereby approved. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate go back to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do refer to plenary for the chair to report progress. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for the confirmation of nominees for appointment as ministers of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The nominees appeared before the Senate, answered questions from distinguished senators on a number of topical issues, particularly issues relating to their designated ministries. Thereafter, the Senate and the Committee of the Whole approved the nominations of Dr. Nentewa Yilwata, Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi, Bianca Odinaga Odimogu Ojukwu, Right Honorable Yu Abdullah Yasa, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, Dr. Jumoke Oduwale, Shuaiba Said Ahmed, PhD, as ministers of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Nentawa Yilwada for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Nentewa Yelwada is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi for appointment as the minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi is hereby confirmed as the minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Bianca Ojukwu for appointment as a minister in the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Bianca Ojukwu is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Right Honorable Yu Abdullah for appointment as the minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Idi Mokhtar Maiha for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Idi Mokhtar Maiha is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Jumoke Oduwole for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Jumoke Oduwole is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Shriver Said Ahmed, PhD, for appointment as the minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Shriver Said Ahmed, PhD, is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me congratulate all the nominees for this elevation by Almighty God, courtesy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also pray that God will give them the enablement to continue to put in their best for the upliftment of the citizenry and the benefit of this great country. Congratulations also to my colleagues, distinguished senators, who have spent the better part of the day from morning till now to do this all-important national assignment. I congratulate all of you, and I pray that Almighty God will reward each and every one of you with good health and wisdom to continue to serve our great nation.